Good morning, Bickies. How's it going? The old hand cream's out. What? On a live stream. It's Tara from Biscuit. I hope you're well. I've decided to call these weekly broadcasts the Biscuit Box. I was trying to come up with some kind of naming exercise. So I'd love to hear what you think of that. The Biscuit Box, like, maybe not with the like, actually. So how are you? This is the Biscuit Box. I have to get used to trying to say that now as I do these live streams on a Wednesday. So every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, I'm going to be in here live doing different kind of things on different days. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about that before we actually dive into what we're doing today. And to give you guys a chance to actually log on and join me. So I'm just going to put that up on the screen. The Biscuit Box weekly at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Last week, we had a great session. And I got amazing feedback and fantastic comments, and it was a really great conversation, and I really, really enjoyed it. So thanks to everybody that turned up and watched the replay as well. Thanks, Mel. And what I noticed was from last week that my head was down was down here. Just you couldn't see my mouth like when I was chatting away. So I'm going to take away that or else put a cushion under my bottom so I can be a little bit higher when I want to put some stuff on the screen. So I'm going to wait for a few of you guys to log in. If you're in, please say hello. I'd love to hear from you and see who's in. Oh, hey, Danielle, how's it going? Hey, Kajsa, how's it going? Thanks a million. Oh, Jeannie Mac, the old scarf. Do you know what? I put that on this morning. Brilliant. After you wash the old curly hair, it goes mental. But I usually wear Daki, her scarves, which are cool because they have like a wire in them, so you don't have to, they don't slide off. So I couldn't find it this morning going, running around. So I had to put pins in this one. So there you go, Danielle. So Daki, I need to find your headband. They're brilliant. They just stay on there's no movement in them. They're brilliant. Who else is in with me? Hey, Bernice, how's it going? Sinead, how's it going? Hey, Leslie Ryan, how are you, Mrs.? Hope the Baba is well. It's great that there's a few guys in this morning. Thanks, Mel. I'm just having my old cup of tea there now to get the old juices flowing, I suppose. Oh my God, I'm off coffee. We're trying to stay off coffee. And yeah, it's hard. Like, I'm totally addicted. I'm trying to be good. So tea, I'm just drinking bucket loads of tea. Like, buy shares in Barry's tea. I'm drinking gazillions of it. Oh, Leslie, Barry's, of course, girl. Myself and Leslie are just pure Cork, like, aren't we, Leslie? Of course, Barry's. Ginny Mac. What else is there, sure? Okay, now I could disclaimer, I could be a little bit distracted this morning because yesterday my son, who is 15 months old, was sick and was at home with me yesterday, which threw the whole thing, but sure, look, he comes first, of course. But he was grand this morning, but the creche just texted me there to say he's kind of given out a bit and he's not in his usual form. So excuse me if I keep looking at my phone. I'm just making sure they're not needing me to come in to get him. And if I just run off and disappear, then you'll know what has happened. Okay. Hey Lynn, how's it going? Tea is more oh, it's decaf. Oh. I know, yeah. Does it? Oh my God. Lynn says tea has more caffeine than coffee. I didn't know that, Lynn. Holy crap. Shit. Maybe that's why I'm still bouncing around the place. Hey Jean, how are you? Angela, hi, how's it going? It's great to see so many people in this morning. So what we're going to do today, and once a month I'm going to do this on a Wednesday in here, gang, is I want to open up the floor for Q&A. I love this type of energy. I love giving you a voice into what you're actually stuck on. And you can ask me anything, like in relation to anything. I'm not saying I'll know the answer. I will probably have an opinion. I'm not an expert in everything. I know things about specific things for sure, and I've experienced in very specific things for sure. But I'll give you my tuppence. I'll explain it in the way I always explain it in relation to what I have done or with people that I've worked with, or what obviously experience I have. And if I can't answer the question, I will find a person who will know the answer to the question that you're asking. And that leads me to the second bit of information about these, the Biscuit Box Live. On another Wednesday of the month, I will be getting guests on here to share their knowledge, showcase their creative work. So I'm going to be reaching out to the Biscuit community and inviting people on the Biscuit Box to tell us about your business. And the important thing with this is when creative people that are in business and that are throwing shapes and making, good progress with their business, come on the Biscuit Box. I want people to share their frustrations, what they're struggling with, and how they're actually dealing with that. Because I think the big illusion is that everybody else has it sorted, that everybody else is making shitloads of money and you're not. Everybody else has amazing social profiles and they're so good at what they do and they're so productive. And then you go onto their Instagram personal thing and they're having loads of family time and they just have it sussed. How can I not have it sussed? Well, that's all bullshit, firstly, because social media is all filtered and everyone puts their right foot forward and no one's going to be posting up working at 3:00 in the morning while the kids sleep and you're demented. Like, no one's going to share that, are they? Well, some people do, which I've huge respect for. So I want to take away that illusion that everybody knows that everyone struggles, whether you're up here, you're down here. It doesn't matter where you are on the line of business. There's a struggle at every stage. And the more we realize that every stage has its struggles, and the important thing is to learn, well, how are people getting over those struggles? I think that's powerful. And I think to take away the bullshit, take away the filter, let's have honest conversation with other creative people that are doing what they do and take from it and learn from it instead of being jealous or putting yourself under so much pressure to be like that person that you aspire to. That's not the way to do it, because that's negative energy and you're going to be in the wrong space to actually focus in on what you should be focusing on. So that's going to be a very important part of these live streams. And I think it's a nice opportunity to showcase what creative people are doing in an honest way. Let's stop putting all the fandangles and glitter on everything and be real about stuff. Okay. So, who else is in? Hey, Orla, how's it going? And I hope, yeah, he's okay. Thanks, Angela. He'll be fine. He's just a little bit off form. I think there's two big whoppers coming up now, the old teeth. Okay, so let's kick this off. I hope you can, everyone can hear and see me. I'm sure you can, because I'm getting lovely comments, which I love. If you wouldn't mind as well, when you're watching this and the replay and live especially, if you would put in the comments where you're tuning in from. So I know a lot of you guys are based in Ireland, but I'd love to see where in Ireland you are, because I'm always interested to see where people are. And I think this is nice too, that you might be somewhere where there's another Biscuit or someone on the stream that might be in the same area. And especially for rural Bickies, I think it's a great connector to know that there's other Biscuits in your area for future meetups or collaborations or whatever will happen from that. Hey, Vanessa, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Hey. So Kajsa, I hope I pronounced that right, Kaj. Kaja. I'm brutal at pronouncing names. Okay, so Kaja says, you were perfectly describing the essence of Self-Starter magazine. No fluffy jargon, but straight talk, real advice, true person accounts, and honest help. There you go, Kaja girl. In you go, showing it off. I love it. Well done. And I love what you're doing. So keep up the amazing work. It's great to see you do that. And it's, yeah, you're on it, girl. On it. Okay. So, oh, thank you, Kesa. Oh, okay, Kesa. Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Kesa. I was pronouncing the J. Okay, cool. Claire Williams, how's it going? I'm glad you found us. And Barry Moore, how's it going? Ashling, hey, how's it going? Okay, cool. Right, I'm going to dive into these Q&A. We're going to spend probably 30 minutes on this, gang, and I'm going to go through as many as possible. So how this is going to work, I've posted a Q&A post inside Bite the Biscuit. If you haven't got a clue what Bite the Biscuit is and you've just come across this live stream, Bite the Biscuit is our free community on Facebook. So if you're a creative in business or a practitioner or someone that wants to develop your creative work into something, then hop over to Bite the Biscuit. It's our community. There's Jeannie Mack. I'm just on the page there now. There's 5,249 members. Holy crap! I actually never really look at that number that much. And Jeannie Mac, it's getting a bit big, isn't it? Anyway, it's all good, and the vibe is good in there, and we're all in there to help each other and to support each other. So hop in there. So I've put a Q&A the other day. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go from top as far down as I can with the time allocated for this. And any questions that I don't address, will just I'll bring into the next Q&A session. Okay. So I'm just going, there's no preference. I'm just going to go from top to bottom. So whoever is in first, I'll deal with that first. Okay, let's go through these. Barry Moore says, what's a tracker mortgage? Barry, you're feckin' brilliant. Like, did I expect anything less? No. I haven't a clue what a tracker mortgage is. Okay, so the first question we're going to dive into this morning, it's a great question. Barry Moore asks, what do you think is the most effective way to market and advertise on a low to zero budget? I love this question. Why do I love this question? Because what I find from listening to business owners that want to promote and want to get their work out there and the product out there, the spending money bit, which includes I just need to invest in a really nice website and spend all my money on my website. No, I just need to do shitloads of Facebook ads and, Instagram ads and target specifically. And no, stop. My biggest chunk of advice when you're starting a business, or not even starting, when you're rolling a business and you're growing a business, be very, very slow to feck loads of money at something until you're ready. So how do you know you're ready? You're ready when you have explored all the organic ways of driving traffic to your product, to your brand, organically. What does organically mean? It means without spending money. So it's a few key things that you can do, right? In not spending money. One, create content, your own content. What does that mean? The main one is blog writing. So I didn't want to say writing first because there's other types of blogs. Like you can put a vlog, which is a video in your blog page of your website. You can do an audio like for a podcast, or just an audio, and you can put it into your blog page. Whatever feels right to you, whatever you like to do. Another great way of creating content is live streaming. You hit a load of avenues with live streaming in relation to content. And this is all free, right? So creating content around what you're doing, around the value of what you're putting out there to your audience, is the most important marketing tool you have for not spending money. So with no budget but your time, which is hugely valuable, but without putting your hand in your pocket, creating your own content around your business and driving people to that is the most important part of your business. Now, I know what you're thinking, but you have to drive traffic to it, right? I know you're thinking that. So that's what the ad is for, right? Yes, but not first. So you do it in these particular ways. The first one, obviously, through social media. So to put it into perspective, right? You write a blog post. I'm just going to do the traditional blog post. I don't want to melt your brain too much on all the others, but ask me questions on the format bit if you need help with that. I'll go down to the comments in 2 seconds. I'm just in my flow. Okay, so you write a blog post. You're sitting down at your computer and you say, okay, I'm going to write my own content. I don't have any other blog posts, but I'm going to write a blog post, right? So what tends to happen is people go in and they write a blog post all about their product, right? So I make my product. I love making my product. My product is this size. You can put it on the wall like this. You can do this with it. It's all about the product and you're delighted. And then you've that sales page link and you've everything linked up and you're super happy and the images look great and you're delighted, right? And you press publish on the blog post. So then you go, okay, the blog is up. That's brilliant. Now I'm going to go over to social media, right? Because that's what social media is about. It's about taking snippets of what you're actually doing with your business and teasing people, creating interest around what you're doing in very short synopsis on social media to drive them back to that blog post, for example, right? So here's what happens. You go over, you post nice pictures of your product, you talk about your product and how beautiful it is and how long it took you and, all those things, right? And you put them out there and nobody visits your blog. Does that sound familiar? Type yes in the comments if you think this scenario sounds familiar to you. Okay. So now what do you do? Or what have you done wrong, right? So you have the blog post up, you have the teaser images. What is happening? Okay, so this is the mistake. Go back to your blog post. What are you writing about? Your product. Emphasis on your. I want you to always put your customer at the center of your thoughts when you're creating content, not you. So your product and how you make it and all this good stuff is interesting to a point, but to get people over to your blog post and to get them to dive deeper with you into what you do and potentially become a customer, you have to write the blog post about them. What are their pain points? What are they struggling with? And how can you and your product or service help them? So instead of, I'd love for you to, come and look at my product. This is my product. This is how I make it. I love my products. This is how I do it. I'm upside down in a tree painting with my toenails, And that's really interesting from someone who has already engaged with what you do, who knows you and your personality a bit. That's something down the line to send out to your audience that is an engaged, loyal fan base. They want to know that stuff because they're into what you do. But to get the traffic over initially, that means diddly squat to somebody. Why would I read all about that person? What is in it for me? What is in it for me, right? So think about it. What is it about your product or service that is beneficial to your audience? Can you teach people how to hang pieces of art properly? How do you hang your work in your house, and can you showcase that to somebody? How do you suggest taking care of pieces of art, not necessarily your product or service, a generic, this is how I know about this stuff. I'm going to share this. I'm going to give you like the 5 top tips for this, because I know this stuff really easy, because I'm always creating this type of thing, and I can help people with that. Actually, I wonder, do they know all about this? Probably not. That's interesting content for a cold audience around your work, rather than you talking about your product and how wonderful it is. Flip it over. Think about your target audience. What is their struggle around what you do? Is it how they choose art or whatever you do? Is it how can they choose it? How can they hang it? How can they look after it? You know, like your top 5 framers, and what the different frames look on different, like is that a pain point for someone buying art? I'm just picking art as an example. Whatever it is, the important thing is you put your customer at the center, you make a blog post or a live stream or whatever. That's your one piece of content that you can use continually. There's that word again. That's your solid bit of content. And then you go over to social media and you tease that out. Not look at me, look at my work. This is what I do all the time. But, you know, have you ever struggled with how to choose a frame for your artwork? Well, and that's the little snippet. And read the full blog post over here, because it's really valuable and you're going to learn a lot. That's more interesting to a cold audience, but you need to know your audience and what they struggle with. I hope that answers your question, Barry. That's one of the things you can do with zero budget to drive and promote your product or service. Okay, let's see. Hang on. Okay, Barry says, so you should have an angle on your product service for blogs. Yes, where you are giving value and education to people and indirectly selling your product service as a secondary priority. Spot on, Barry. That's it. Absolutely. Because think about it, right? People don't want to know all about you and your product until a much later stage from a blog post. And even when they are engaged with you and what you do, that's like a little bit of the bigger picture. You've to so spend time thinking about, right, okay, this is my target audience, right? I want to help people with their social media, right? I want to manage their accounts, for example, right, Barry? I want to manage small business owners' social media accounts. That's my passion. That's what I want to do. So what is the pain point? What are they struggling with? And how can you help them? Is it, and not just the obvious, well, I can help them with their social media and the time thing. Yes, that's all great. But think about what stops people from even thinking about choosing someone to help them with that. Is it cost? Is it not understanding the return on investment? Is it not sure who to trust? So these are the topics that you can actually address in your blog post that can answer those questions from your target audience. So Barry says, so different taglines to repost same content and draw people in. Absolutely. There you go. You have it. Yes. So, and this is something that we did on a Pinterest training inside the Biscuit Factory, right? And it's very, very powerful. And I get this a lot from people. Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm not a blogger. I don't want to be sitting down writing blogs all day. Like, no, you're not a blogger. You're a creator. You're an artist. You're a maker. And your priority is to keep that flow of your creativity to create the products and services that you were here to do, right? So the marketing side of it and the blog writing doesn't have to take up a huge amount of your time. You spend time on one blog post, right? On just one blog post initially, on one blog post, and you get clever at how you're putting that information out there to different target audiences. For example, with the Pinterest training we did, right? You can drive loads of traffic to your blog post from Pinterest. I mean, it's incredible. Like that. If you join the Biscuit Factory, there's a free training inside there on all about Pinterest. It's like you'd be going, what? Amazing results from this training, right? Anyway, that's beside the point. You have a blog post, right? So you go into the blog post, for example, the 5 top ways of choosing a social media manager for your business, right? For example. So that can be one social media post, a cool image, the title, 5 tips for this, right? Then you look back at that blog post and you go, okay, well, I've done that a while. There's okay traffic, but let's try something else. Let's pick another bit of one of those tips that I talk about in the blog and zone in on that. So one of the tips could be, trust people with a beard. I'm just making it up, obviously. You can trust someone with a beard with your social media. That can be one of, you pull that out of your blog and then you zone in on that tip or that nugget that you're sharing in the full blog, and you create content around that. What that means is you'd put up a picture of someone with a beard on and say, do you like beards? You talk about beards and what the research is around trusting people with beards. I don't know why I said that, but you get what I mean. You're pulling out little nuggets and you're taking it apart and you're creating conversations around that nugget on your social media. And, in Instagram, you could do a week on beards, and all the different things. You use hashtags related to beards and trusting people. You can go mental, but at least you're razor focused on what you're actually talking about. And then the prompt is, your call to action, or CTA, is read the rest of my tips over here on the blog post that I've written, and that's where you want to send people. But the content that you're putting out, that you're teasing on social media, is really interesting because you're like, I didn't know that about beards and trusting people. Did you? And this is the conversation around it, and I can talk all about this for the next week. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope that makes sense, Barry. And you're on it, and I think Barry just says, I'll just put that up. Tara, this is all gold, you're a legend. Thank you, you're welcome. I hope that answered your question well. But I loved that question when I saw it. I went, yes, that's smart, because what you don't want to do is sit down and go, right, here's my product. Now I'm going to spend 50 quid today on boosting my post. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. You have to think about what you are boosting. What is that thing that you're boosting? And why are you boosting? What is the objective of that boost? Do you want to grow your email list, or do you just want people to read your blog post? Then what happens? So the nugget here is, if you're going to spend money, please stop and plan it out and think about it and know exactly what you're doing with it, rather than just going, yeah, sure, 50 quid. 50 quid is a lot of money, gang. 50 quid is a lot of money. So don't throw money out hoping it'll come back. It probably won't. So don't waste money. Be strategic, think about it, and ask for feedback. Use Bite the Biscuit or other communities to get feedback on stuff that you're putting out there the minute you decide to spend money. Because I've wasted loads of money before in businesses before, and I've learned this the hard way. So I haven't spent a penny on promoting Bite the Biscuit. Not a penny yet on promotion, from the very start, yes, for building awareness of Facebook ads, yes, so that's a complete lie. But not for the last 2 years. I haven't spent a penny on promotion. It's all organic. Everything. It's referral, it's content, it's engagement, it's the time that you put in. That's what you spend, that's what it's about. So all I'm saying is just please be super careful with spending money. Okay. Hang on. Okay, I'm just going to quickly go into the comments there. Okay, so, sorry. Hey, Geeta, how's it going? Glenn, how's it going? Your 7 book attendant for content, Barry. Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So Geeta says, Tara, I'm struggling with writing my about me for my website. How personal or long should it be? Great question. Okay. Kaya says, I gave up on Pinterest a long time ago. Have to look at it again. Pinterest, just to say, Pinterest is the number, maybe Google would probably be Pinterest actually, but Pinterest is a serious game changer. If your objective, Kaya, is to drive traffic to your website or to your own space, Pinterest is a game changer. It's a traffic builder. Like in the Biscuit Factory, whose doors are open now, by the way, there's a free training on Pinterest, and you can see the results people are getting from actually engaging in these tricks and tips around how to use Pinterest properly. We got a Pinterest expert in, which we do every month in the Biscuit Factory, to teach us about these tools properly, and to give us insight. And Pinterest is a game changer. And I think if you're serious about driving traffic to your blog post, and especially because you're a content marketer, Kaya, Pinterest, you have to get onto Pinterest. Okay, I'm going to go back into Bite the Biscuit gang because I want to keep the flow going on the actual Q&A post that we put up. Okay. Barry, I'm going to just skip your next one because I want to I'll go back to that one, Barry, if you don't mind, about the events, because I wanted to hit someone else's question because I spent ages on with you. Sorry. Okay. Molly Ellis says, and this is the second question. Molly Ellis says, I was just checking the time. Molly Ellis says, how do you get into the press? I love this question. How do you get into the press? How do you get contacts for press releases? What's the best recipe for press releases in terms of supplying imagery? Brilliant question. And I know a lot of you guys, and I'm sure I thought I saw it in here as well. Oh, Claire says, hang on, I knew I saw press. It just popped out of my eyeballs, caught it as I scrolled through. Claire Williams, hey, says, how do I get coverage in the press? Have done lovely press releases with professional shots of my products, got all relevant emails and nothing. Okay. First, Molly, you probably watched the replay. I don't think you're in. Molly is a Biscuit Factory member. Molly, there is a full online course inside the Biscuit Factory on press. Just so you know, I'll tag you on it on the Biscuit Factory site, just so you know. But to answer your question, and for Claire, you're not in the factory, so you can't access that. But to give you an overview, okay. So the press is easier than you think to get coverage on. And what tends to happen is, and I've worked a lot with people on the press, what tends to happen is people send in, as you said, Claire, a lovely press release. Now, what I want you to think about when you're doing your press release is this. Number one, who are you sending the press release into? So is it Image Magazine, or is it the Irish Times, or is it Woman's Way, or Country Magazine, or whatever the other ones are? Is it a magazine? Is it a newspaper? That's really important. People tend to write one press release and send it off to everybody. No. Why? Because every publication has different readers, and those readers are interested in different things. You wouldn't find the same content in Woman's Way as you would in Image, or you wouldn't find the same type of articles in the Irish Times as you would in the Sun, for example. Totally different reader demographic, different interests, and and this is across the board with marketing, gang. People have different wants and needs, right? So the press, their objective is to put interesting content, newsworthy content in front of their reader. So the first port of call for getting your stuff into the press is make your hit list of publications. Now, be careful with this. If you have a product that's €5 that you import from China and that you paint on, and it's cheap and cheerful, you bang them out and that's it, and you're not going to pitch that product to Image Magazine. So you have to make sure that what your service or your product is all about, and what it is you're offering the world, matches the audience's interests that are attached to that publication. So how are you going to find that out if you're like, well, I haven't a clue? Go and buy magazines and newspapers and do a bit of research. Open the magazine and go, okay, this is exactly the type of stuff that I do. They're interested in this stuff, so why can't I get in here, right? And I'm sure you've done that. You've opened going, like, my competition are in there. Why haven't I been featured? For God's sake, what? This is really annoying. Plus, it really hits confidence in what you're doing, because you automatically assume that your product is shit, that you're shit, and actually I quit, right? I know you've thought that, right? Don't think that. There's a science to this thing. So now there is a big, huge, long, I have 12 modules in the Biscuit Factory, all on press, how to get into the press. So it is, you can, there is a lot to it, but fundamentally you pick a list of you say your top 5 target publications. You make sure that your product or service aligns to the magazine or the newspaper or wherever you want to be, aligns to their customer base, right? So that's the first one. The second one, you look at your press release, okay? The most important part of your press release is the header. Why? Because it is really difficult to get journalists to click to open your email. Really hard. That's the hardest bit, right? So how are you going to get them to open the email? Your header has to be really, really good. How are you going to do that? Newsworthy, controversial, timely. These are a few key things that you have to think about. Is my press release controversial? Are you shaking things up a bit? Have you decided to go against the grain on something? Make that your header. What else did I say? Timely. So, Christmas is coming. It's a Christmas kind of angle to what you do, which will be relevant to people trying to build content for their magazine or their blog or whatever around Christmas. Or that's quite generic and they'll get loads of them. So I want you to think a little bit off center and look at timely wise what's going on in your area or where that publication is based. What is going on? Is there a conference on? Is there a summit thing on? Is like Art Sources on? Have you tried to do Art Source every year but you haven't been able to get it together because of funding, or you think that could be a lovely angle in? Why local artist says no to Art Source? That is controversial, that is timely because Art Source is coming up. That's interesting. Not, here's my work, and that's not newsworthy. It is to you, or I have a new body of work, or this is my next exhibition. Very, very few journalists want that information because it's just a bit boring. Who's going to, unless it's a listing of what exhibitions are coming up, then you put it in like that. So you have to be super focused as to, well, what kind of content do they actually publish? Open your magazine. Okay, they've talked about this in the last 3 magazines, they keep talking about this type of thing. That's my angle. And here's the thing, when you do analyze publishing, and Kaja, I'd say you understand this because you're from the other side, right? When you do analyze, what you'll notice is it's repetitive. The top 5 things of, female entrepreneurship, say for, being productive. The top 3 things for, female entrepreneurs running a family and a business. You'll see that everywhere, right? Why? because that's what audiences want to read. Don't reinvent the wheel. Look at what's being published already and angle it around what you do. That's the biggest takeaway I can give you for press stuff, gang. In relation to image, again, Molly, look at your target publications. A lot of people use the cutout, you should cut them out and have them on the white background because they are laid out, you'd see those the gift pages with all gifts in them, or, putting outfits together for Christmas and jewelry and rings and all this good stuff. So if you're sending your products or services into a magazine that do that type of thing, then that's what you give them. You give them the background, the cutout stuff with the white. I'm not a photographer, but you know what I mean? You give them what you see they're already publishing, right? If you're pitching for a bio, you want someone to write about you, like the business, the paper, I can't remember the name, but Business Today or something. Oh my God, I've no memory. Anyway, you're going to give them a lifestyle shot of you in your studio, not your products, because they want to talk about you. So always, 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 just like having your customer at the forefront of your mind, your press is kind of like a customer as well. What do they want from you? What do they need to do their job? And you package it really well for them and you're consistent with it. So you don't just do one and go, no, you follow up the next day. Hey, how's it going? Did you get my email? Beep, beep, beep. Oh, okay. Next month. Hey, did you get my email? Beep, beep, beep. Okay. Hey, it's me again. Did you get my email? Oh, hiya, annoying person. But yes, we did. Thanks a million. That's the way it works. Consistently. Send it out every month or every 2 weeks or every day if there's something really that you want to push, and follow up with a phone call. Okay, I hope that helps. Okay, let's see. Hang on. Kaya says, spot on. As a magazine publisher myself, I often get press releases which have nothing to do with what Self-Starter is about, sadly. Exactly. Also, having written for many international magazines on a regular basis, shaping your proposed content to the intended magazine is super important, or it simply won't fit. I bought an issue of each mag that I wanted to work with and learn their language. Exactly. The look of their imagery, their intended readers, and then tailored my pitch. I have to say I was successful with 90% of them due to that. Ooh, there you go. Well, that's, I mean, when you think about it, lads, it's kind of common sense, like, isn't it? Think about when someone's sending you something, like, it has to be relevant to you. And if you're, and here's the thing as well, and Kay, I know you're going to agree with me on this, because I know a lot of journalists, and your journalists are very busy. They are under serious deadlines. And their challenge is, feck, I have to create really good content. And they're under that timeline pressure all the time. It's a very stressful job. You, and especially you, a creative person in business, making stuff interesting, quirky, maybe had told your 9 to 5 to feck off and you followed your passion. We all have our stories. We all have amazing products. We're the ones with the content. So if you think under pressure publisher, freaked out, creative person going, I hate my work, but you have to come to the center. How can I make this like really interesting for this person to showcase what I do and put it in front of them? Just winging it doesn't work. Obviously, Claire, you've tried, like, and it's not like you're not trying, but you're winging it because you don't understand this whole thing. So I hope now that makes more sense to you. Okay, Claire says, how do I get into the press? Have tried and tried. Well, I hope that helps. Okay, and alternatively, you can join the Biscuit Factory and do the full course inside there. And Jean, I will tag you on that. I know you're a factory member as well, so I will. And Bernie's, I'll tag you too. Jeannie Mac, have you not seen that? Okay. Hey Jade, how's it going, Jade? Okay, I hope that helps, gang. Now, where am I? I'm going to go back into Bite the Biscuit. Let me know if that helps, Claire, by the way. And get writing, get that press release in, girl. You can do it. Okay, I'm going to do one more question because we're really, it's nearly 10 to 12. Oh my God, it goes so fast. So I'm going to take one more question. And this is from Bernice. Oh, hang on. I think it's around the same thing. Can you use the poor man's copyright to protect your business and also get into the press? I've sent in releases, but no joy. Bernice, I'll tag you on the course inside the factory. And yes, we'll get you into the press. Okay, one more question and then we have to call it a day, gang. Until the next one. Angela says, hi Tara, my question is, where do I start? I have been trying to write a few blogs slowly, but know I need to keep up with Facebook, Instagram, etc. And it is just taking me so long to work things out. And then the next day I've forgotten again. I am also working on next year's workshop and want print sales. A lot going on, Angela. Get my drift? Yes. Think I just need one thing to concentrate on. I even cleaned the house today. Oh, I've done that so many times. That's so funny. Okay, I just want to break this down. And this is a brilliant question. So when you're starting out, you have lots of different things going on. And Angela, you are working hard. I think you're trying to do too much at the same time though. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to set up a scrum board in your house. So if you don't know what a scrum board is these. I can't see me now. I'm on the Biscuit page. I hope you can. Oh yeah, these. Okay, so you need post-its and you need a space. I use my door because my other post-it board is too full. I use the side back of my door, and you create 3 columns. What are they? To do, doing, and done. Right? Post-it, post-it, post-it. 3 columns. Then, Angela, I want you to brain dump. Get it all out onto every thing that you're doing has one post-it, and you stick them up on your space, right? So the important thing is to get them out of the busy brain onto a piece of paper, and up in a space that you can stand back and look at them. Because what happens is, if they stay in your brain, like Angela said, you forget. You're so busy, you're firefighting, you're hopping from one thing to the next. You're forgetting what you were doing when you started your day. So I want you to brain dump, get it all on your post-its. Each idea, each project has its own post-it, right? That's the first exercise. So you put all of them in to do. Then you step back and you look at your list, right? So you say, okay, I have my blog, I've keeping up with Instagram and Facebook, I've workshops, I'm selling prints. Like, there's lots going on there, right? So you have to prioritize that list. What's important first? I would always suggest, well, if you have an event coming up, if you have something that you're trying to sell tickets to, you're under pressure with the time, with the clock, right? Because that's coming up. So that has to take precedence, right? So that's your focus. But here's the thing, with something like an event, your social media and your blog are all feeders to that one thing. So you think you're doing lots of separate things, but actually they're all related. And then just just thinking, maybe you could even put your prints in underneath workshop to-do list. Have you got prints that you created from a workshop? For example, how to paint glass beautifully via watercolors, Angela. What glass paintings have you got, or prints have you got that you can sell? So when you're talking about your workshop and what you're going to teach, that is a call to action to send people over to the gallery in your website. Send people over to the gallery in your website to showcase the work that you do on your workshop. But it's a gallery shop, right? So people go, wow, look at that. Freaking hell, she painted that glass, and I learned that at the workshop. I can't go to the workshop because I live in Australia, but I'd love a print of that. So think about how your time constraint thingy can really impact all the different things that you say, I have to be active on social media. Make them relevant to that thing that you're working on. And so you're hitting every thing. So the important thing is planning. First step, brain dump. Get it all up on the wall, post it, post it, post it, post it, post it, pick out the tiny under pressure thing, bring it over, and then make the list underneath. What do I need to do to sell tickets for my workshop? What do I need to do? Do a blog on my workshop offering, not, hi gang, this is my workshop and it's in this lovely castle and we're all going to run around and paint. Like, that's not interesting blog content. Think about your target audience. What are you teaching on the blog? What's their pain point, and what would stop people going to a workshop in the first place? Or what is the main benefit of your workshop, Angela? That's what you write about. I also suggest you live stream, and you use that live stream to talk about your workshop and what the value is and what you're going to teach, and put that in your blog so you're not spending shitloads of time. Okay? I hope that helps, Angela. Okay. Claire says, yes, that's all brilliant. Thanks. Okay, cool. That's great. Okay, gang. And I hope that helped. I hope that answered your question. Okay, if you're, I'm going to go now because I'm trying to stay within the half an hour. Yeah, right, Tara. Time frame for these. So we covered 3 questions even. And I hope I've answered or highlighted a few good things for you guys. Please let me know in the comments after the live stream ends, even, or now, or whatever, if you've another question, that any question that's posted underneath this live stream, I'm going to bring in and address it at the next Q&A. And I will, of course, come in and give you a little answer as well in the thread later on today. So I hope that helped, and I'd love to know your feedback if you thought this was helpful. We'll be in next Wednesday at 11 o'clock, the Biscuit Box. I'll see you over in Bite the Biscuit as well. Just to let you know, as well, that we have sorted out the date for our Biscuit Christmas party. Hurrah! So the details will come next week. We've limited spaces, I'm afraid, because there are so many people in the community now. So we've limited spaces. I've created a wait list for the tickets. So if you want to grab a ticket first, put your name on the wait list before it's put out to the Biscuit community, and grab your ticket first. It's going to be great crack. Like, seriously, great crack. I can't wait. Okay. Keep creative. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next Wednesday at 11 o'clock. I'm just going to put that up over my mouth. Oh, I'm hiding behind it. So the Biscuit Box weekly at 11 a.m. and I'll be in the community and I'll post in here what next week is going to be all about. Okay, gang. Have a great day. Keep creative and talk to you soon. Bye.